You get so caught up in being mommy, being wife, being an entrepreneur, like you're being something for everyone else. You
Yes.
lose yourself.
You do.
And that's never healthy because you have to know yourself
You do.
in order to tell people
What
who
you need.
what you need, who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, this is Amanda Wells.
And this is Derek Wells.
Welcome to the Wells of Wealth podcast, where we bring you the latest insights and strategies for digging deep and tapping into the wealth of knowledge that can help you achieve your financial, relationship, family, and faith goals.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Wells of Wealth podcast. Today is super special because we're doing a girls takeover.
Yay!
Yes, got rid of Derek. Derek's gone. And it's just the girlies today. So I want to introduce our guest, Mrs. Elena Saulsberry.
Get it right.
Get it. I know, right? Let me fix it. Sorry. Introducing Mrs. Elena Saulsberry.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited for today.
I'm so excited. First of all, this is not Amanda. This is May May.
I was about to say, AKA Piggy Poo,
No.
AKA Auntie Lena Piggy Poo.
This is Auntie May May. We love May May. May May is my amazing friend. We have been friends for a long time
Yes,
now.
literally for a long time.
It's been years.
It's been over a decade.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we locked in.
Yeah, for sure. Sisters for life.
Yay. We've been doing this for y'all. We've been friends for a long time. Elena has everybody calling me May May. Like
Rightfully so.
Literally everyone. She did makeup for Khadeen when they were in town. Khadeen and Duvall, and she got them to sign my book, May May. I'm like, y'all, that is not my name. So
That's funny. What's so funny is we had a couple of drinks too, so I didn't know that they just signed May May. I thought they would at least go back and put Amanda.
No, she was like, "Oh, May May bet," and I think she asked you how to spell it, and you was like MAY.
That was perfect.
Yes.
So when you posted it, I was like, I did not know that they actually put May May.
I said, okay, so y'all, they're family now because only family calls me that.
Yeah.
So that name started with my uncle. My uncle Mike started calling me that name first when I was tiny, like maybe 2. He started calling me that. And then Piggy Poo came from, I think we were just chatting and you were telling me about your childhood nickname, which was actually
Elena Painapoo.
Painapoo, yes. And I was like, Piggy Poo. And then it was history.
And then May May said I used to be called May May, and I hated that name. And I said, okay, I'm bringing it back. And so there it stuck.
Has stuck for over, I don't even know how many years, over 12 years.
Yeah.
Like a long time.
I love you.
I love you too. I'm excited, guys. So today is going to be a super special episode. We're talking about mompreneurs. Like when I think about mompreneurs, this woman comes to mind instantly. What you've been able to build, the brand, everything, just from the time I've known you, the grind that I've seen leading up to where you are today, and then what I know is to come is just insane. Like, I'm so excited for you. So I'm going to get us started with our words of wealth, which is typically Derek's job, but he's not here today. So our words of wealth for today is, as a mompreneur, you have the power to make your dreams a reality, all while being present for your family and creating a life you love, which is by Rachel N. And so what do those words mean to you?
Whatever I do for my family.
Yeah.
That is, as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, the reason why I do what I do is for my kids. It's for my husband. So it keeps me going. And I mean, that's the best being that will keep me going, because it's not myself. Like,
if it was up to me, I'm not.
Yeah, if it was just for me, that's not enough.
Yes.
So I'm grateful that I do have an amazing husband, an amazing family, kids, dog.
Yes.
That I have to
Can't
grind
forget Munchie. Yes.
Right. So that's I love that quote.
Yeah, it's so true. Same thing. Like a lot of times in real estate, people ask you, what is your why? That's a big question, because some people get in it because they see the glam. Some people get in it because they see the money. But ultimately, the why for me has always been creating the life where I'm able to pour into my family and be there and show up to my kids' school and do different things with them where they know mom is always present.
And you do such a good job at it.
Thank you.
Like, May is younger than me, but when I tell you I get all my tips and tricks as far as being a good mother from May, like you're such a good role model when it comes to a mom, a mompreneur, a wife. Like, you do it all. And you do it all perfectly.
Not perfectly.
You do.
I'm not perfect.
What I see is perfect. What I see is perfect.
I'm learning how to take compliments, so thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Accept it.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I am. I'm working on it. So let's jump right into this. So before we get into questions, I just want you to give a little background about who you are,
Okay.
what you've accomplished. Just give people a little bit of, who is Elena Saulsberry?
Okay. Elena Saulsberry. I am the founder and owner of Color Du Jour and Color Du Jour Makeup Studio, located in Houston, Texas. We have been operating for 8 years, but I have been the owner of Color Du Jour for 13 years. And we service people from all walks of life, brides, people wanting individual appointments, birthday parties, engagement shoots. I am a celebrity makeup artist as well. So I have a VIP clientele that I travel for quite a bit. And I love what I do. I do online courses. I do classes that will help you to gain techniques as far as how to apply your own makeup. I always feel like it's good to know your own face.
Absolutely.
And I was looking at May's makeup today, and I was like, man, you look Color Du Jour. You look so pretty. And she was like, I just got finished watching your online workshop.
Yes,
so
y'all listen. The workshops take you from step A to step Z. Like, people will be like, oh, you do a pretty decent job on your makeup, or you do a pretty good job, whatever. I'm like, y'all got to get these classes, okay? Because the things that I thought I was doing right, I was not doing.
You're like,
right.
I saw what I was doing wrong.
Yeah, I told today, I'm like, look, I was doing this wrong,
That's
wrong.
So good.
Your classes are phenomenal. Like, literally take you from the beginning to the end in a calm and peaceful way that makes people feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And then your classes are just a totally different vibe. Like, I
love my class. I have fun in my classes, so I know that they're fun for the people that attend. That's always my goal.
From your first class that your first classes, I think it was like makeup and Moscato.
It was Moscato and mascara.
There we go. Okay. I know it was around there.
Yeah.
And it was close, but I remember those classes, and then to see what you're doing today. Mm-hmm. It's the same intimacy, but just on a whole nother level, for sure. So,
and I had the last class I just did. It was a Galentine's Day event, and I booked out a venue, and it held 50 people. But I was looking at the class, I was like, I definitely want to have more in there.
Yes,
yeah, we cut it off at 50, and
everybody looked so
they
good.
Look so good. And I always assess, that's how I grade myself. Like, how well did you teach today based on how everyone looked in the class?
Yes. And not only did you give people the makeup application, but you gave affirmations. You taught women how to love themselves before the makeup was on. Like, everybody came in barefaced. Mm-hmm. There was no concealer, no foundation, nothing. Everybody came in as they were, and you taught the women how to love themselves as they were first.
I love that.
And give themselves affirmations before the makeup was applied. And I think
that's one thing that I focus on. I always like for them to give themselves affirmation when they don't have makeup on. I don't want those affirmations to come after that makeup
Yeah.
is applied, because I think it starts first with that inner beauty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Inner beauty shines through way more.
We talk about that all the time. Yeah.
Yes. Like you can meet someone, they could be beat to the gods, but if their inner self is not worked on, is not pure, is not real or loved, it shows.
Yeah, I agree. You have to do that work, that internal work first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can already tell this is gonna be so good, y'all. Y'all are in for a treat.
I am excited.
So let's hop right into our questions. Can you tell us more about your journey into entrepreneurship as a mom, as a wife? What inspired you to do your own makeup studio, which was huge? Like when you started Color Du Jour makeup studio, that was before it was really a thing. So what was your inspiration? Give me a little background into that part of your life.
Okay, so I started doing makeup. Actually, I was the person in high school where it was picture day, and I would do all of my friends' makeup for picture day. They would come, into the girls' bathroom, and they would get their makeup done by me.
Really?
I would do all of their makeup.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it started in high school.
Okay.
And then I graduated, and in college, I would do everyone's makeup for free in college.
Where did you get that from? Where did that stem from?
So I whenever I would stay with my grandma, she would always teach me how to apply the makeup. And my family, one thing about my family, they love talking and they're very detailed. So she would teach me what each brush is used for.
Really?
She'd be like, you do your eyebrows like this. This brush is used for, so very detailed. My aunt was a model. She modeled for Macy's.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, Foley's before it became Macy's.
Before Macy's, yes.
And then she was also a pageant girl. And
Okay.
so they had to learn how to do their makeup. And then back in the day, when you're a model, obviously there wasn't many Black makeup artists then on set. So she had to learn how to do her makeup. So she would teach us how to do our makeup. And I was also like in dance and stuff, we had to do our makeup. So I was just around my makeup. My mom didn't let us leave the house without putting on makeup some days.
Oh my gosh.
She'd be like, you leaving the house like that? Where's your blush?
Put a little rouge.
There's no rouge on your cheeks. So I was just always around it. So in college, I don't know. It was just always a passion of mine. And I would do everyone's makeup. They would come and get their makeup done. Graduated from college, I was still doing everyone's makeup. My mom saw people, because I moved back in with my mom after I graduated. She saw people in and out of my house. And she was like, are you charging them? I was like, no. And she said, girl, you better start charging them.
Yes.
And so she made me business cards.
Okay.
And so from there, I
Shout
started.
out to mom.
Shout out to mom.
That's
Moms
what's
know.
up. Yes.
And so from there, I started charging, and then I built my clientele from there. I was substitute teaching at that time.
Okay.
And then I think the next year I got a full-time teaching job. But while I was teaching, I would do makeup in the mornings before school, in the evenings after school, on the weekend. So I taught for 4 years. I coached volleyball. I did summer school, all while doing makeup and building my clientele. And my 4th year of teaching, I was able to leave.
That grind is insane. I came from the teaching world, and you,
and I warned her
you
about
did.
that.
She warned
Like,
me.
shout out to the teachers. Look,
No,
y'all
for
should
real.
be paid way more.
Yes, we are fighting for that
Yeah.
because teachers deserve so much more than they
Oh,
get.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you literally were the first person like, look, it's not what you think it is, and I was like,
I'm gonna change the world.
You're ruining my dreams. Like, I am passionate. And then I got there and I was like, okay, bet you were right.
I said, I told you, May.
You was right. It's a little different than I thought it was.
Yeah, because you go into teaching, you're like, oh, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to change the world. You're literally battling against the parents and the administration. And yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is. But you know what I always think about, and I always tell Derek this, like, in what you do, and even in what I do, teaching was the foundation, right? You're teaching women, you're teaching other makeup artists, you're teaching people application skills. And the reason you're so good at it is because you understand the process of teaching.
Yeah. And everyone has different ways of learning.
Yes, the learning skills. And you touch on all of those. Like you do an amazing job with the visual learning, the hands-on learning. Like you touch every learner in your classes, in your courses. You truly help even the most basic person that's like, look, y'all, I don't do makeup. This is not my thing. Every person that walks out of your class has a confidence about themselves.
They do. And that's what I look for.
Yes.
That's one of the things I look for. And after one of my classes, one of the ladies, she was saying, it's so crazy that I don't know how to do makeup. And I was able to do this. And her face was so flawless when she said it too. So that's what I look for. And that's what I love to see.
Yeah. That's what that's like, that keeps you going.
Yeah.
Like that's that piece when people learning in itself is probably one of the most basic things as a human that we can do is just learn something new.
Yeah.
And it just keeps us going. And then when you learn something that boosts your confidence, makes your shoulders go back and you're just like, I'm out here. Like y'all can't tell me nothing. That is a beautiful thing. So kudos to you.
You got me feeling like that emoji with the hearts around it. You got me feeling good.
You should. You should. You have done a lot. Like you have done a lot for just women in general. Like you have created a space where you've shown women that what you're passionate about and what you're good at can truly turn into a full business.
And it
like
definitely
you
can.
Have taken that to a role of you've taken entrepreneurship to a different place. We know people like in Hollywood, in California, in New York, that have created a name for themselves in the makeup industry because that's where a lot of fashion entertainment is. But here in the South, in Houston, it's different.
Yeah, you definitely have to find your way.
Yeah.
And I always say it's a cap, but it's not. You have, I always say it's a cap being here in Houston because obviously in LA, you're able to like climb faster. In Atlanta, you're able to, but no, you can figure out, that's what online is for. You know, you can figure your way around that and you can travel. And so that's why I become more of a travel makeup artist too, catering to those clients that need me elsewhere.
And what are some places that you've traveled to? Like, what are some destinations? Like, what has makeup brought you to?
I loved it was for a client in Anguilla. One of the most beautiful weddings that I've done was in Jamaica, DR. Yes. Turks and Caicos. Yes. I have been to a lot of destinations for weddings. I have a wedding this month actually in Portugal.
Oh,
so that's going to be really nice.
That's going to be nice.
Yeah. I was like, I need to make sure I get all of the behind the scenes.
Yes, I want all the content.
Yeah, all the content. What's so crazy, I love to live in the moment. So it's really hard for me to get the BTS because I just like to be there. I like to be present. I like to take it all in. So I really need to start traveling with someone that's going to
going to capture it.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. Because you really have taken your brand, your talent outside of Houston, and that's huge. So I think my next question for you is, as a mom, as a wife, how are you able to balance? And I hate the word balance because balance typically means everything is the same.
Because who said that? Who said we balancing?
Because it's never all level, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
As a mom, you have two beautiful children. As a wife, there is a commitment that you have to your family, but there's also a commitment that you have to your business.
Yeah.
And so how do you figure out a way to appease everybody and continue to build your brand and grow? Because that's really difficult for a lot of women.
It's tough. What's so crazy, when we first signed our lease to our studio, I found out I was pregnant.
Wow.
And I was like, God, you're good. Because I knew that I would not have signed that lease if I knew I was pregnant beforehand.
Okay.
So he knew
Yes.
where he wanted to take me. And with that, I was so grateful because Landon was such an easy child. He's an easy baby. And
Man,
so
them first ones always,
it's those
they give
second
you
ones.
the okie doke. Yeah, then the second one comes and it's like,
Woo.
okay.
Yeah. So, Landon, like he was just able to adjust, and Josh, my husband, was very hands-on with him, like at the beginning, but it's a hard balance.
It is.
You have to put things in place, and you have to have a village.
Yes.
You have to delegate.
Yes.
That's the only way you can balance. You cannot do everything yourself. One thing is going to suffer. And now adding my second child, Brooke,
Yes.
I knew that I had to take a step back.
Yeah.
So I didn't, I slowed down on accepting so many weddings. Obviously, they fall on the weekend. So I wanted to enjoy her baby years a little bit more as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
But with 2 kids, I just wanted to be there. And I
Yeah.
wanted to, see their milestones.
Yes. It's
But
important.
It's tough. Like that balance, finding that balance to not put your you don't want your business to ever lack, right?
Right.
But there are some parts of your life that you have to give up. So where are you going to give it up? And I knew that it was my career, which is sad, but I'm getting back into it.
Yes.
I am. Yeah.
Baby,
like Brooke is
listen.
more self-sufficient, so I'm getting back into the swing of things. But there are some things you have to you have to make those sacrifices, and take a step back. Hiring a nanny if you can.
Yes.
Having a babysitter, or hopefully you have like hands-on help from parents. Y'all have great hands-on help from parents, so that's awesome to be able to just maneuver the way you need to, especially when you're entrepreneurs. You have to. There are so many things that come up.
Every day is a new day.
Yeah,
There's no routine to your day.
I'm training my assistant right now. I'm like, look, every day is going to look different.
Yes.
You have to adjust.
Yes.
And so that's what it was. It's just stepping back and just seeing, okay, where can I take a step back? And so for me, I knew, okay, I can't accept these appointments, or I can't do this, but I can do more of this.
Yeah.
And I'm still bringing in similar amount of money.
Probably
just
more, right?
More.
Yeah.
Just working smart.
Yes.
If you
working smart
Yes.
is like the key.
It is the key. That booked and busy mentality. I was once in that, and I was unhappy. That booked and busy, I'm booked all the time. No, I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be. But I remember it was 2019. I scrolled through my phone. All I saw was makeup pictures.
Wow.
That's all it was. I didn't have
events.
no
kids.
no memories of my kids. Like it was just all makeup. And I was like, oh, this has to change.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started to okay, where can I cut back on? What can I do to change? And then for me, I wanted to have more moments with my family. So,
because it's important, as mom guilt always kicks in.
Oh,
it's something
time.
that no matter how old your kids get, no matter how many kids you have, mom guilt is always a part of us. It just is what it is, right? Just yesterday, I was telling Derek, the kids wanted me to go run at the track with them, but I had to work on some stuff for work. And I'm like, oh, they're going to be mad if I don't come. He's like, look, I'm going to relax. It's okay.
see, that's why we have the spouses we have.
Yes. You have to
They're
have
so understanding.
good partners. You have to have people in your community that know when you need a break.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, I'll take them to the track. They'll be fine. They come back from the track. They found friends. They didn't even ask if I was there. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should pop up there. Mom guilt is always a part of us.
It's a real thing. And we have to stop doing that
we
to ourselves. We have to stop.
We really do. We need to create a
mom guilt
Yes,
club.
mom guilt club.
It is okay, Mimi. It is okay.
Yes. And it's okay to focus on our business.
It is.
Because ultimately that benefits our family.
Absolutely. We're setting up our family. We're working on our legacy.
Yes.
We're both first entrepreneurs in our family.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that your legacy is set.
Yeah. And it's so much sacrifice. People glamorize it, right? online on social media, it's always like the glamour of, I own my own business.
Yeah.
I work for myself. But what a lot of time people don't realize is, for those of you that go to a 9 to 5 and you stop at 5, entrepreneurship does not stop.
Your brain does not cut off when you own a business. You're constantly having to think of new ways to bring in money.
Yes.
Constantly, because it's forever changing around you.
Yeah.
The economy, society, ideas,
Yes.
it's constantly changing.
Social media.
Yeah. So you're having to find new creative ideas to bring in new money. And so your brain is constantly going.
Yeah.
And you have to continue to engage your clients, your audience, and bring in, like, you have to make people aware of what you offer, and you don't want people to get burnt out
Yeah.
on what are bored with what you're offering.
Yes.
So yeah, it's forever. It's almost a game that I play with myself. What can I think of next? All right.
Yes.
What can I do next?
But Elena, one thing I will tell you is the way your brain thinks, like your creativity, and you're always next level. Like, you don't think on the same playing field. You and Josh, like, y'all are a powerhouse. The way that y'all create content, the way that y'all move your brand forward, it is on a next level. Mm-hmm. And so what do y'all tap into to find that?
Because we watch Shark Tank a lot.
Okay. I love Shark Tank.
My husband is addicted to Shark Tank. So
Mm-hmm.
we are watching that, like, what ideas can we come up with next? And I just like to hear their pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, I always think about what hasn't been done. What hasn't been done? I know you can reinvent the wheel. That's all fine and dandy. I love that. I don't, like, as a teacher, they tell you, don't reinvent the wheel. Like, just add to it. But
stick to what you know.
Yeah, I like to be different. I've always liked to be different. I remember my volleyball coach, Miss Tina Young, she passed away from cancer, but I feel like my character was also built from her. I remember her and my mom had a meeting, and she was like, Elena can't be in a bad mood. And my mom was like, why can't she be in a bad mood? Because everyone's looking at her on the court.
Wow.
Elena's a leader, and she doesn't know she's a leader. And everyone's looking at her, so she can't be in a bad mood. She can't have a bad day.
Wow.
My mom was like, how is that fair? How is
That's
that
a lot
even
of
fair?
pressure.
There was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So then my mom came back and told me, I was like, really?
You're like, me?
But that's how I just kind of walk to the beat of my own drum. I am constantly thinking of ways that's going to set me apart, because I never wanted to be a copier. I never wanted to take someone's idea.
Yeah.
I always want to try and do things my own way and do it differently and see if that catches on. And sometimes it doesn't. And that's the thing about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with the failures. There's ideas that I had. I remember I made some t-shirts. I thought they were going to pop off. I probably sold like 5 of them, ordered 1,000 initially.
You still got some?
I still got some. I still have them.
We can move them today. Like, look, I heard.
I'm not trying to move them. I understand now why they didn't pop off, but
Okay.
you have to go through those things to understand why. Okay, why didn't this work? How can I do things differently?
Yes.
For example, so I was doing my 4-hour hands-on class. But then you have some people that come to those 4-hour hands-on class that are overwhelmed.
It's
so
too much.
it was too much. So in my business, I started doing mini classes. So then I started doing eyebrow only classes.
Yeah.
Eyeshadow application only, so it wouldn't overwhelm my customers. And so from there, those were really good too. And I was like, okay, I have something. And then even with the new, I'm doing more themed classes now.
Yes,
Because I love themed classes.
Yes, your new class that's coming up.
So
right?
so my new class, it's May 7th. It's called Summertime Fine. Trying to get y'all right for the summer.
Ooh, I can't wait.
So for summer, especially being here in Houston, Texas, we love a thinner application because this humidity will sweat it right off.
Yes, baby. You'll just have
Dripping.
yes, foundation all over your outfit.
Yeah, we don't want that. So, thinner application, more bronzy, more like just softer, bronzy application techniques that I'm going to teach you.
Yes.
And I'm excited about it.
I am here for it. I love it.
Make sure y'all leave fine. Yeah, y'all coming fine. We're going to make sure y'all leave finer.
Finer.
Yes.
With the confidence and the bow, I'm out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
So you clearly have a lot going on. Like, it's a lot. And so my next question to you is, as a mompreneur, how do you find time for yourself? How do you prioritize yourself? I know.
I'm sorry. I know. Go ahead.
You're like, girl, what time? Who prioritizes themselves? But how do you find like your Zen moments? What activities do you do? What are some things where Elena gets to just be Elena? Like, what are those things for you?
So that is something that I'm still trying to master.
Okay.
Finding balance. People that work in my studio, they tell me, you gotta set aside time for yourself. Even if you go to the park and read a book, people tell me all the time what to do. It's just, I think in me, I would rather spend time with my kids a lot. Yeah. And, we have those days where we're like, oh my gosh, I need a break.
Absolutely.
So in order for me to truly break, I have to go on vacation.
Yes,
I have to be away. I have to know
way.
my kids are taken care of.
Yes.
And I can just relax and I have this full day to myself. Sometimes my husband will get me like the little spa days to Trellis, which is nice. I would highly recommend in Houston.
Absolutely.
Trellis or Post Oak.
Yes. The
vibes. Yes. But outside of that, waking up earlier, that's when I find my time.
Okay.
So if I wake up before before
the craziness starts.
Before anyone needs you, just spending that time with God, meditating, looking back on like your task, like what do you have to do today? Mm-hmm. That really just puts you in a good place.
Yeah.
And then making sure the kids go to bed on time.
Amen to that.
And having that nighttime fun with your husband or just by yourself.
And time to unwind from the day.
Yeah. So just making sure that you have those blocks of time in the day for yourself. It's really necessary. We talk about that all the time.
All the time.
Making sure that you carve out those date nights, those girl nights out.
Yes.
It's important. Don't lose yourself. As an entrepreneur, do not lose yourself in the grind.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, so many moms across the board, just everyone that I know that takes that journey into motherhood, at some point in time, they lose themselves.
I did.
They lose themselves. I did too. Where I was like, who is Amanda outside of these kids? Who is Amanda outside of a husband and a business? Like, what do I actually enjoy for fun?
Right.
And those are questions you have to constantly ask yourself. Because they make you a better you.
Yeah. My therapist, I go to therapy.
Yeah.
My therapist was like, what makes Elena happy? What do you like to do for fun? I was like, I don't know.
That's such a hard question.
I don't know
answer.
at all. So it's important and so what she told me to do is create a journal or a list of happy things for Elena. What makes Elena happy? And that is I probably had 3 things on that list.
It's hard.
It's really hard to focus on yourself. You get so caught up in being mommy, being wife, being an entrepreneur. Like you're being something for everyone else.
Yes.
You lose yourself.
You do.
And that's never healthy because you have to know yourself.
You do.
In order to tell people
what you need,
who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really, it's important to journal and just go within.
And so with your process of being pregnant and still doing makeup, how did that look for you? Like, how are you able to find the rest? Because everybody knows that first trimester, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You can wake up that morning and you're just exhausted. So how did you push through? Did you ever have a point where you felt like you had baby blues, or like, how did you make it through that period of time with having children and still creating a thriving business?
There are some off days. There are days where I had that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I found that balance, but first trimester, I will say I took a lot of naps. Yeah, you have to take naps on any breaks that you have.
Absolutely.
Second trimester is great. Third trimester is great. It's that fourth trimester where I'm having to lug around like my makeup kit.
Yeah.
So obviously, know when to stop. I think I stopped like maybe a month left in my pregnancy.
Okay.
So just knowing when to stop, knowing when to give yourself breaks. I was still doing weddings, which weddings are very strenuous when you are a makeup artist with a big belly. Yeah. I was still doing weddings, but I had my assistant come to the site. Normally she doesn't come on location. She was on location helping me with my bags.
Got it.
So you put things in place that help. So you have to adjust. So as long as you adjust, you'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good advice. And for a new mom or just a new entrepreneur in general, what advice would you give them if they're like, I'm passionate about makeup, I don't even want to just say makeup, just business, whatever it is that's in their heart that God has given them that they feel like is their talent. What advice would you give a young entrepreneur that's getting started, but also see themselves building a family and wanting to thrive in that area of their life as well as business?
I think for me, it's just go with your heart. I move a lot with my heart as an entrepreneur.
Do you?
Because I know that God is putting that in my heart.
Yeah.
So whatever he thinks is best for me, that's the way I'm going to move. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you don't see that end, but you have to just go with what God puts in you.
Whew,
and so just knowing how to tap into that and to follow that gives you peace.
Yes. Peace is important.
Yeah.
Peace is so important.
And another thing is just to be okay with failing. That'll keep you going. And just learn your lessons from that. That'll keep you going, because sometimes that failure stumps people.
Yeah.
And that on that other side of that point of where they failed can be that success.
Yes, it's always on the
other side.
Yes.
So you have to get there, and you have to go through those lessons to get there.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, don't give up on yourself.
You can't.
You can't give up on yourself.
Me, I'm always like, all right, let's try something else.
Yeah.
All right, this didn't work. Let's try something else.
You have to be flexible. You have to be able to look at a situation and say, okay, well, this didn't work. Well, maybe let's try this. Or, and you know what else is I think is extremely important is to have a community of other entrepreneurs. Yeah. That you can tap in to say, hey, I have this idea, or what do you think about this? And it's okay to allow other people to pour into you and give you advice and feedback, because so many times we feel like we have to do it on our own, and we don't.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's one reason why I started Color Du Jour Makeup Studio. So I was doing makeup out of my home, and my clientele built up so much. I was like, okay, I need to find a location where people feel comfortable going versus my home. Yeah. And I remember, and I tell my mom this, she doesn't even remember saying this, but I wanted to open up a studio. because I wanted to create camaraderie amongst makeup artists. And she even said, that's a sense of entitlement because you could have gotten a small little space for you and then built up to that.
That's true.
I didn't see my vision. She didn't see my vision. I saw my vision.
Yes.
And so my vision was to bring these makeup artists together because you didn't see that much in Houston. And you still don't really see that.
You don't.
And so I know that it's good to have other people that are doing the same thing, that are dealing with the same issues as you, bring them together so that we can all thrive together.
Yes.
And so that's one reason why I opened up Color Du Jour Makeup Studio, because I wanted it to be a sense of camaraderie. I wanted it to be like a team where we piggyback ideas off of each other, where, okay, I can't service this client. Can you service this client?
Yeah, and you're really good about that.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. I'm okay with, I'm not available, but you can go to one of my other artists who will take care of you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And in that, like, in building that community, right? You're in the beauty industry. And I know just from dealing with people in any people industry, that's tough. Like, dealing with people can be tough. What have you found has been your, your key, the elements of your business that you've poured into Color Du Jour Makeup Studio, that you're like, if you're going to be an artist in my studio, you need to have these skills or exhibit this behavior?
Number one is customer service. That's going to keep them coming back. You can be the best makeup artist in the world, but if you don't have that customer service, if you don't care about other people's time, their opinion of what they think about the application, if you're not willing to tailor that experience to them, you don't need to be in the industry. It's a service-based industry. And so in order to stay in this service-based industry, you have to sacrifice a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
So initially, when I first started off, I would give my brides a certain time. Okay, I'm going to do your makeup from this time to this time. But when I first initially started, I would stay after. I would help the bride get in her wedding dress.
Wow.
I would help her walk down the aisle. Typically the bride is the last one left in the room because everyone else walks down the aisle. I would stay with the bride. I will talk to the bride, like calm their nerves a little bit. Even when I was doing makeup out of my home, I would make sure they had a place to curl their hair if they needed to, if they had a place to get dressed if they needed to, if they were going straight from the makeup appointment to their event, wherever they're going.
And you incorporated that into
my studio.
Your studio.
So fast forward it, in my studio, I was literally doing the same thing. Because at home, I would get them wine or water. I will offer them wine and water in my studio. I have dressing rooms in my studio.
Yeah.
So, we talk about the fake it till you make it. That's basically what I was doing. I was implementing everything that I wanted to see in my business. And now opening up a studio, I can do the same things.
Yes.
So I was just operating the same way I was operating out of my home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Now I'm like getting emotional thinking about that. But yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah. And that you're right. Customer service is the number one thing. If I leave a place, it doesn't matter what place of business that is. If I leave a place and I'm like, that person made me feel special in that moment. That person showed up for me and I have a story to tell. You're going to, word of mouth goes so fast.
Word of mouth, I say, and I teach this in my classes. Word of mouth is so much more powerful than your social media, believe it or not. Word of mouth will get you that clientele that you need. And in order to have good word of mouth, you have to give that person a positive word of mouth to talk about, right? So even I had celebrities come into town. I'm ironing their clothes because I could see they're frantic. They're stressing out. Do I do that all the time? No. But this particular celebrity, I'm ironing their clothes. And they're like, oh my gosh, I know you have somewhere to be and you're ironing my outfit.
Yeah.
Because I'm okay serving. And growing up, my mom always identified that I had the gift of service. And she did take advantage of it by making me do her massages and
Let me find out. You give massages. Hold on a second.
I give massages.
You know
maybe
what?
not as good as Josh, but I give massages.
You do. I'm not gonna go into the story, but I remember one time you literally like changed my life.
I healed
did.
your arm.
You did.
Yeah. So I also did. So I went to school for biology. I did 2 physical therapy internships. So we were able to heal people in their chronic pain. And I actually used one of the techniques on May.
Did. I remember asking like doctor friends and nurse. I'm like, I can't get rid of this.
The tingling in your arm.
And you were like, let me see your arm. Girl, you worked magic.
I healed you.
You did.
And I healed Josh from time to time too. Will he admit it?
Maybe it's iffy. Depends on the day. But you do, like, yes, you have the magic touch.
Thank you.
For sure.
And that's what I hope to bring to my clients. And I always like to put them at ease when I'm doing their makeup. I always like to talk them into positivity, like positive thinking.
You do that to me too.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
You always say there's power in your words, so be careful what you say. Like, I'll be like, girl, I ain't got it right now. And you're like, no, don't say that. Like, you do have it.
I need to take my own advice sometimes. I need to take my own advice.
But you speak life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sets you apart from so many people out there. And anyone that ends up working with you is, in that moment, you're not only doing makeup, but you are truly pouring into your clients. You're giving them so much more than a beat face.
Yeah.
Like, you pour into their spirit.
I hope so.
And that's something that not a lot of people have. And I truly believe, as knowing you as my friend, that's why you are so successful, so relatable,
Don't
so
do it,
incredible.
baby.
You
Oh my God, don't do it,
you know how to pour into the people that you interact with.
And then moments I can't pour, moments I feel like I can't give you, I can't pour. I'm never a makeup artist that wants the appointment time to be quiet. I want to talk. I want to, just get to learn who I'm working on, learn about who I'm working on. But the moments I can't, that's when I take a step back. Because there's a reason I can't pour.
Yeah. And you know how important that is to the people that you're servicing.
Absolutely.
And that in itself shows your character. You're like, I can't be my best version of myself for you, so I'm not going to service you.
Yeah.
And there's people that will show up to just because they're trying to get the bag, and they feel that. People feel that.
Oh, people for sure feel that. I think that's why I have such a long run in this career, is because I don't do it just for that money. You can ask Josh. Josh is a money man when it comes to, I used to come home sometimes without taking payment, forgetting to take payment. He'd be like, okay, how was your appointment? I'd be like, great. My appointment was great. All right. So, where's the money? I can deposit it for you. I'm like, oh, I forgot to take the balance. I'm sorry. And so either me or him will have to follow up and say, oh, you forgot to place that was much earlier on in my career. Obviously, I remember now, but that was much earlier on. But money, I don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
And that's why I always have the money coming in.
Yes. God is going to bless you.
Because, again, it's a service-based industry, and I truly care about leaving people with that just good feeling when they leave out of my chair.
Absolutely.
And interacting with me. I don't ever want them to deal with me on a bad day. So that's when I take a step back. If I know I can't pour into anyone, I take a step back.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
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 That's good. Yeah. So moving right along into our final segment of our show, which is Wealth Avenue. Wealth Avenue is where we give you tips on your road to success. So this is the portion of the show where we leave our viewers with one thing that you want them to leave this episode with, and just dwell on. what would that be?
One
for you?
thing.
One thing.
Just one?
Just one. I know there was a lot in this episode.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So the one thing that I heard or I got from just our conversation is that no matter what stage of the business that you're in, whether you're just starting entrepreneurship or if you've been in the game for over 10 plus years, number one, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are giving the best version of yourself. And if you can't, it's okay to take a break. It is okay. Like,
it is. I have a friend that reached out and she was like, Elena, don't you think it's time to like sit down? Not out of like hate, like she wasn't hating or nothing. She was looking out for me. She was like, I've seen you start your career, and she's like, you haven't sat down.
yeah.
She's like, do you want to sit down now? Are you ready to sit down? And this is when I had Brooke too. She's like, it's okay to sit down. And I was like, no, I just can't. It's my baby.
But
it's one of my babies.
It's okay.
It's okay though.
It is okay. You need it. It makes you a better person. It makes you show up for your clients better. It makes you show up for your family better. It makes you a better parent when you know yourself enough to say, hey, look, I'm tired. I need a mental reset so that I can give y'all all of me.
Yeah.
And so I just want more women to know that we do have
a lot on our plates.
lot.
Along with the hormones that are going up and down that you can't control.
You can't control it. Like, my family knows. I'm in a house full of boys.
I don't know how you do it.
And a man. And they're all like, they're like, it's time to leave mommy alone. Like, she needs a couple of days to get herself together. Like,
and that's okay.
It's okay. Like, we need that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And also build a community. Build like-minded women that are entrepreneurs, because my friends that aren't entrepreneurs love them to death, but they don't understand what I go through day in and day out.
Yeah.
And
because you're working around the clock.
Yes.
In your mind.
There's no turn off.
My
weekends are not weekends.
No.
I'm still working.
You are. First, you are.
I'm still working.
The world of real estate,
Man,
you are.
It doesn't sleep.
Oh my gosh.
And so, build a community, take a break, and provide what you need for yourself so you can provide that to others.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's my takeaway.
So my takeaway as a mompreneur, create ways that you can bring in that passive income without being hands-on with your business.
Ooh, that's a gem.
Yeah.
That's
so you
a
want to be
gem.
able to, if you do want to take a day off, you still want your phone dinging with purchases. So for me, it's creating those online courses, products, anything that, of course, it requires work on the front end.
Right.
Me doing my online courses requires a lot of work on the front end. I'm coming out of a lot of money. If I'm booking a studio for my online courses, the amount of time that goes into it, I pay my models. And then, product, like for my brushes, my makeup brushes, it took me a year. They were sending me pictures like, how does this cut of this brush look? That's not good enough. It needs to look like this. Took me a year back and forth designing my brushes. But to hear those dings when you're sitting in bed and that you're making money, like we have our classes on sale now. And we got a lot. May purchased the class.
I'm a purchaser.
My best friend purchased the class.
Yes.
In my mind, I'm looking at her name like, why does she do this?
Because
I'm
going to support
it. I appreciate it.
And they're fire.
I love
and if you don't have a class, get you a class.
Look, y'all see her makeup. She look good. She look good.
Look.
But yeah, just having that ability to have that passive income, you have to set it up, you have to plan, and you have to, of course, lose a little money on the front end, but you're going to get it back. Like for my makeup brushes, I made well over what I spent, like 5 times over.
Yeah, investment. You got to invest in
You
yourself.
have to invest. So that is a part of mompreneur, like making sure that you have those things in place that's going to bring in that money when you are on vacation. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, we don't get sick days.
Nope.
We don't get
No
vacation
PTO.
days, no PTOs. So you have to make sure that you have something in place that's going to give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That's a gem. I'm looking at my business like, whew, what can I
monetize on?
what can I monetize real quick? But oh my God, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for
coming on Wells of Wealth podcast.
Of
this
course.
has been incredible. Like, I honestly, my heart is filled.
My heart is too. And y'all need to check out the other episodes. Amazing. When I tell you Wells of Wealth, Derek and Amanda are really doing it and dropping gems, like great advice about life. I mean, I followed a lot of their advice. They are our go-to people when it comes to making our decisions about like being parents, being entrepreneurs. So y'all need to definitely check out the rest of their episodes.
Yay, thank you. I appreciate it.
And what's so crazy is we stayed with May and Derek.
We did live together for a while.
We lived together for a moment while we were getting our house built.
Yeah.
So they allowed us to live there. And I was actually taking appointments in May and Derek's house at one point. I was determined.
Baby, they was moving.
I was
Okay. You was
determined.
like, all right, I got an appointment at this time, this time. Like, your drive has been just consistent.
Remember that morning that I had makeup and somebody made breakfast for everybody? And then I missed out on the brunch.
I do.
I was so upset about the brunch.
Mad. You came home. You were like, "Where's my breakfast?" We was like, "Sorry, player. You should have been here."
I was so mad. I said, just because I had an appointment, y'all didn't make me no pancakes.
They was gone. Yo, we go back. Like,
Yeah.
yes. This is. I always say. Our friendship is not even a friendship. It's a sisterhood at this point. Like, we have been holding each other down through business, family, marriage, all the things. And you are, God, I wish more people just knew I wish more people just knew your heart. Aww. You are a beautiful person inside and out.
Don't make me cry.
I just love you. Okay, so we don't cry. Tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me on @Color COLOR Color Du Jour on Instagram, on TikTok, and my website is colordujour.com. My studio's website is cdjmakeupstudio.com if I'm not available and you're looking to book a makeup artist for your next event if you're here in Houston, Texas.
Yes. And you have the class
and
coming
I
up.
have a class, but that's all located on my website. So if you,
and yes.
And my class too, I'm sorry. So my class, if you go to @Color Du Jour on Instagram, the first link, once you click on it in my bio, is the class where you can sign up for Summertime Fine.
Yes.
If you're looking for a nice, dewy, thin glow, you want to look good, but you don't want too much makeup on, that is a class for you.
Yes. And Wells of Wealth, we are going to be sponsoring a giveaway to the class, which I'm so excited about. So stay tuned. Check out the clips. We'll roll everything out on Instagram. So make sure that you're following Wells Team Houston to be a part of that giveaway. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. We're on all the streaming apps, your favorite podcast streaming apps. Thank you so much for being a part of our wealth community, and we will see you next time. Bye.